To God, bro. Like I met him at our first hood revival at the graffiti yard in Pacoima about 8 years ago. It was about 8 years ago. God put it on my heart to do an event there, and he was one of our speakers there, sharing his testimony and just to see what God is doing in his life, man. Is season through season through season. I've been following this man, and I know that he's got a great, powerful word for all of us. Amen. So without further ado, let me bring on my brother Kris Brossett.
Man, I learned something in the last few weeks. It's good when you learn, right?
It sure is.
I got this little thing that I always have to learn. You know, I don't know why. I can't never just learn the easy way. You know what I mean? Yeah. But what I learned is when someone asks you for a picture, to give them a picture. You know what I mean? When they ask you for a picture for your post, like, hey, you're coming to speak here, shoot me a picture. To give them a picture. Brother Alex, you cooked me, bro. My daughter's like, bro, he got you good, bro. Like, I promise you, I wasn't high in that picture.
Jesus.
I was like, I promise you, I wasn't high. I was like, man, all right, I'm gonna send a picture next time. That's my bad, though. It's not bad. I didn't do what I was asked to do. So, you know, hard lesson. You know? Man, it's good to be here, man. One of the cool things is I'm not a regular attender here. I don't come here that often, man. It just hasn't been part of my story, but I have been here over the past, I guess 15 years, a lot of times. And I think one of the most cool things about just coming and fellowship with you guys every single time, or just coming to the Blue Line, is just to see the continual pouring into men, just a yearning after God's heart that I see in men year after year after year. It's like every time I come, I'm like, man, this is like God is still moving, like God is just working and working and working. And just to think of like, sometimes like we, especially like people with my personality, we like to count things, right? Like we like to be able to see the results of things. And one of the things about God's kingdom that has always just shook me, and like, and when I pastored and church planted for a lot of years, and I coached and ministered to pastors, and I've done a lot of different things in ministry circles, and like there's this passage that says, the sower went out and sowed the seed, and then he went to sleep and he came back out and he didn't know how it grew.
Right, amen.
And there's all these different ideas about how God works and does things. And like, man, we don't know how the heck that thing works, man. Like, God just does what he does. Amen. And one of the most beautiful things that I think that came to my mind when I just watched this is like I see a lot of faces in here, right? But coming here over the last like 15 years, there's a lot of faces that aren't here. But I also run into those people at the gym. I run into those people in a coffee shop. I run in and I see the work that God is doing, and I just think of like the legacy, you know what I mean? Like the legacy that this place has, and the work that God is doing, and the way that God has used the Brew Line to really just change lives and shape people. Man, bless you guys, man. Like it is an honor to be here. Part of the reason I don't come is because George gets on my nerves. He just makes me feel bad. Because every time I don't come, I feel like, damn, I say George is here. There's my brother, man. There's my brother. Man, I got one passage today. I'm not even going to expand too crazy on it. I was praying, man, and I just, sometimes, I preached probably over 1,000 times. Sometimes you have a word. Like sometimes like you're given a text. Sometimes you just pick a text. Sometimes like, preachers ain't gonna tell you this, like, you don't know what the heck you're doing, you know what I mean? But like, But like sometimes God gives you a word, man. Like, and there's those times when God just kind of implants something in your heart. And I felt like God implanted this for me to you. And it's Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. If you want to turn there, Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. Yeah, I'll just read it and then kind of expand a little bit. So Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. It says, and let us not grow weary of doing good. Let us not grow weary of doing good. For in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Let us not grow weary in doing good. For in due season we will reap if we do not give up. You know, reaping is like that's an agricultural term there. To reap is basically when you sow into the soil. When you sow, that's like planting seeds. When you sow into the soil, like man, sometimes there's hard soil, right? Like there's soil where you start digging in, and you're like, man, you're sitting there with the chipping gun and the chipping hammer, like you're trying, like, man, I gotta really just till this soil, right? Like sometimes the soil is hard, right? And then what you do, like when you go out to plant, you really have to. You can't just plant the seed and just pour water on it. And try to get it to grow. When I was 15, I tried to get into agriculture, and it didn't work. You know what I mean? You try to plant some stuff, pour some water, it didn't grow. You know, like my plan didn't work. But like you have to till the soil, right? You till the soil, you plant in it, then you continually water it, right? And then you slowly see that thing grow. It's not like a fast thing. And so when it says here, let us not grow weary of doing good, and then it uses this, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. It's saying that like don't get tired, right? Like don't grow. And actually it's not like it's actually, maybe tired's not the best word, right? Yeah, I'll turn it off. All good. Maybe tired's not the best word, right? Because you're gonna get tired, right? Like you're gonna get physically exhausted. Like you're like when you're sweating and you're working in the sun and it's hard, you're gonna get tired. But the word is weary. Don't grow weary like that. Like there's a difference, I think, between like physical tired and weariness. Weariness is almost like a state of exhaustion. It's a state of like, man, I'm good. Like this is just too much, right? Like it's saying, it's like weariness is like when you look at it and you ask those questions, like, is this even worth it? Like, is what I'm doing even worth it? Like, you ever done something like that? And you go after something and you start working at it, and you're like, man, I don't even know. I own a business right now, and it's been incredibly difficult this season. And I was talking to a business colleague, and he's a believer, and unfortunately, he just lost his daughter. His 15-year-old daughter just died. You know what I mean? Out of nowhere. And I needed some advice from him, and I was like, I don't even want to call this guy right now. You know, it was like maybe it was like a few months later, but I called him, and after I was telling him like the challenges that I was having in my business, and after he asked me, he goes, hey, is it worth it? And I'm like, no, I don't know. Like, I don't actually know if it's worth it. You know, see, weariness is when all things considered, you know, you get tired and you ask yourself, is it worth it? And so Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, it's talking about this life in Christ. You know, the Apostle Paul is writing to the Galatian people, and from what we learn in it, there's some suffering going on, man. Like there's discouragement, there's despair, there's hardship, what he sees is this temptation to grow weary, to get tired, this temptation to give up. And he says, don't grow weary. Don't grow weary. You know, it's there's a difference between learning, like me just telling you how to do something, and you watching how to do it. Probably about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago now, my wife told me I was getting fat. You know what I mean? She was like, man, you probably need to go to the gym. And I was like, all right. You know, it's one of those questions when she's she's like, you should probably go to the gym. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I've been married 20 years, guys, so like, it's cool. You know, like she goes to the gym. I'm like, I gotta keep up. You know what I mean? So there's one thing when you like try to learn how to work out on your own, right? Like you ever try to like just, you can read a book on exercise, but there's a different thing. I go to this gym where before we start exercising, before we start working out, they demonstrate, right? Like they demonstrate, like this is how you do it, and it's so much easier. Like when you watch somebody do something, right? You can mimic it. It's like really that's right. Exactly, right? And so you're able to repeat what they're doing. You're able to see it. That's actually historically, in historic Christianity, that's the process of catechesis. That's what, like, if you grew up in the Catholic Church, that's what the catechism is, like, repeat after me, right? And there's something about catechesis that actually, it's a learning tool that implants something in your mind, right? And so there's something about watching someone, right, do whatever that they're doing that actually begins, it kind of teaches you in a different way, right? Like you've seen that, right? You're trying to figure something out, and then your boy's like, hey, hold on, just give me the show. Let me show you. Let me show you how to do it. And you're like, oh, that's how I'm supposed to do that, right? So instead of like, when I was praying about this, and instead of preaching at you, right? Like we have lots of people who preach at us. Instead of preaching at you, I felt like what God gave to me was that I needed to just demonstrate. Like I felt like God said, hey, I want you to bring them into your wrestle. So when I talk about Galatians chapter 6-9 here, I don't got no powerful, I don't have any like cheat code for you. What I want to do, and what I felt like the Lord put on my heart, is to invite you into my wrestle. Like I've been following Jesus for some years, you know what I mean? Like some years. And in those years you learn some things. And I just thought that, man, maybe what I can impart, if I can impart, I know there's people in here who have been on this journey, man. I'm looking at some of your faces. I know you for like 15 years, and you look like 15 years ago, right? Like some of you, I know you've been following Jesus for a long time. You know what I mean? And I know there's some people who've been in here for like 3 months or 3 days, or maybe today's your first day. And I think at times we can kind of paint a picture of things that just aren't real, right? Like you ever hear about people? You ever meet people who they present like some of you watch people and you look at how they follow Jesus and you're like, man, it's just easy for you, right? Like how do they do it? And we present almost this category or this presentation of the Christian faith that's just not realistic. Jesus tells some people not to do that in the Bible, right? And some of his walking, he's like, hey man, don't, essentially, I'm gonna paraphrase it, but he's like, don't make it harder than it actually is. Stop making it hard on these people. So instead of making it hard on you, instead of coming in here and presenting some great message or story, I just want to invite you into my wrestle of following Jesus in the trenches over a lot of years. You guys down for that? Amen. God, please help me do it. Please, God, I pray, God, that you would just meet some people here today. And so my prayer is that it would resonate with you. So maybe as I'm kind of inviting you into my story, I'm kind of gonna like right now we just bought a house and we don't have blinds. Like I didn't know who knew blinds were so expensive. You know what I mean? And I can see the street. And I have to, and so it feels a little awkward walking from my restroom to my bed to change because they can see in the street. And sometimes I forget to grab my clothes, right? So I gotta so it feels a little like inviting you into this feels a little bit like that, right? Like let me invite you into a little bit, and it feels a little uncomfortable and awkward. But I pray that it helps you, right? My prayer is that it resonates. Like obviously I pray that maybe like the temptation, right? What the desire is that maybe I would have a message of deep power and deep hope and deep transformation, right? Like I would love for that, but I just don't know. I don't know how to do that. Like I don't know how to transform your life. I don't know how to give you power, right? I don't know how to actually birth hope within you. Like truthfully, that's not even my job. As a preacher, that's not the job of a preacher, right? And my preacher side, my preacher side feels like I should have more. It feels like, man, you should have something to give to them. But my spirit says, just let it be. Just let it be. Just invite them into your story. And I got that example for Jesus, who didn't always feel the need to preach. He didn't always feel the need to preach. And sometimes he's like, I'm not actually preaching right now. I'm just going to kick it with my boys right now. I'm just going to just come with me. Just come with me as I'm. This is why we have these moments where we watch Jesus and we look at Jesus and we watch him weep. It's why we know that he was anxious. It's why we know that he sweat blood, because while preachers might be afraid to bring you into their mess, Jesus wasn't afraid to bring you in to even the struggle that he had. You see, sometimes as preachers we teach too much. Sometimes as preachers we teach too much. We show up and we got a lot to say. And unfortunately we come and we show up put together as if he didn't put us together. We show up all put together with everything nice and glossy and put together like Jesus isn't the one who put us together. Like we're not actually sitting here just like some beggars who found some bread. Like we're not here sitting here like I don't really know what the heck I'm doing. Look, we can act like experts at times. As preachers, we can act like experts and gurus and heroes and such. Right? We see these preachers, and we come up here and there's people who come up and they got these messages like, I'm a hero. Like, check me out. Some of us think we're experts. Right? Some of us think we're experts. Some of you think you're experts. There's probably some people in here who you think you're an expert. But you're not. You're not an expert. And it's entertaining sometimes hearing some of the I'm gonna give you a term right now, pet passions and ideas that people have. You heard that term? I said pet passions. Some of us have pet passions. We have these things that are like our passion, right? They're the things that we think are important. Maybe there's some things that we've been through, and we think everybody should be as passionate about those things as we are because those are called pet passions. Right? They're like little dogs that we walk around, our passion. Right? And it's cute because we pet them and then we tell everybody, like, look how cute my pet passion is. Why don't you have a pet passion like me? And we have these ideas and we try to enforce sometimes these ideas onto the people around us, and we begin to judge them by our own pet passions and ideas. Right? Especially like I've seen this, especially when I try to keep it 100 with people, right? Like the one thing I will tell you is I ain't playing church, man. Like I'm not gonna play Jesus, man. Like who I am, what I'm wrestling through, and what you see is what you get. I want to meet and walk with the real Jesus, not just some idea of him that I have or some version of him that you show me. Because I trust me, man. I've been around the world. I've sat at some of the greatest tables, and everyone's weird, bro. Like nobody's got it figured out. But I've seen these pet passions come out, especially when you try to keep it 100 with people. You ever go to somebody, right? Like this is when you try to keep it 100. That's when people try. They try to come up with the should me's, right? Like the should have. Like, oh, you should just do this. Hey, I'm resting. You should. Oh, this is what you should do, right? Like, oh, hey, this is hard right now. Oh, you should do this. It's because you're not, right? You ever meet the should people? Right? Like, are you a shoulda guy? Are you a should? Right? Like something I was sitting, man, like you ever meet the should people? Right? Right? The should people show up and I'm like, homie, you ain't even checked my resume, dog. Like you shouldn't even, you haven't even checked the resume. Right? You're arguing points that you don't even understand. Right? Like some people, like you ever meet like 6-month theologians, like they met Jesus like 5 months ago or like 5 days ago, and they been know more about Jesus than you? Right? I got a homie, man. I told you I got a company. I had a guy I hired, and I'm trying to minister to him. He's someone I grew up with, and I'm trying to minister to him. And so part of my ministerial, I would say, I'm one of you guys, bro. Like I'm just a normal dude, bro, trying to follow Jesus, right? So I never try to like minister over people. I try to minister beside. But I'm sitting here and I'm talking to this dude who who's working for me. And so part of me, like one of his struggles, you know, like, I don't know about you, but like, there's a lot of people in here who like been in the streets. I know that, right? Like, man, why are gang members so, like, and ex-gang members and people who come from the streets, why are we so insecure and immature? Like, bro, it's like, it's so bro, it's like it's like sensitive, bro. Like, just sensitive. It's like, I didn't answer your phone call in 2 minutes. You blocked me, you leave me off Facebook, don't call me. I'm like, you're worse than a girl. Like, you're like a middle school high bro. Like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And so I'm trying to, you know, he got out for doing a bunch of years. And so I'm trying to like, you know, part of the thing I had to tell him, and this might be hard for some of you, but one of the things I had to tell him is like, hey, just because you were somebody in prison, I'm gonna just let you know, you ain't gonna grow until you realize you're nobody in the streets. Amen. You know what I mean? Sometimes we think because we're a somebody somewhere that we're supposed to be a somebody everywhere. And one of the things that hinders our growth is actually we have to become a nobody before we can become a somebody again. Right? And so what happens is I got my homie working with me and he keeps trying to show me he's a somebody and I keep trying to tell him you're a nobody. Right? And so I literally try to relate to him and I tell him and all of a sudden he's like, homie the biz whiz. Like, he's trying to give me advice on my business. And I'm like, bro, you just got out of prison, dog. Like, you don't know what you're, like, right? People, you meet people like that? Yeah. Right? Like they're the shoulds. You should be doing this. And because we've learned some big words, we think we've walked in some big shoes. But I'm letting you know that big words don't equal big shoes. You know what they say about him who rides the biggest horse? Anybody know that saying? Him who rides the biggest horse shovels the biggest doo-doo. The best way I can put it, right? Sometimes you need doo-doo all over your face to realize that you aren't an expert. Sometimes you need doo-doo all over your face to realize that you are not an expert. Friends, brothers, and there are no Jesus experts, fam. There are no Jesus experts. There are only those who've been with him. And I promise you, he ain't never in all of history been figured out. And so when I pray, instead of showing up as a Jesus expert, what I heard was, just relate. Just relate. Like, let me just bring you again, pull back the cover a little bit, bring you into my struggle. In Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, he calls them epistles. He says, you are epistles. Like the epistles are the letters that we read, right? Like the Apostle Paul wrote, this letter to the Galatians is an epistle. The letter to the Corinthians is an epistle. What Paul says when he writes to the Corinthians, he says, you are epistles. So brothers, I may not be an expert, but I got evidence and examples of walking with Jesus over the years, and they just might resonate. I used to think I was an expert. Right? I used to think I was an expert until I got punched in the face. Right? Mike Tyson gets it right sometimes, right? Everyone got a plan until you get punched in the face. Right? Like I used to think I was an expert until I got punched in the face. I got my theology degrees and my church planning pedigree and my all the things that, right? Like all of us, I think I'm an expert until you get punched. You ever take licks for the kingdom? Like actual licks? Like you ever like take actual, not just because you're obnoxious? Like some of you take licks because you're obnoxious and you blame it on Jesus. Nah, you're just weird, bro. You know what I mean? Like, no, they're not persecuting you. Like, they're just rejecting you. It's not the Jesus they're rejecting. It's the you that they're rejecting. Like, and some of y'all are weird, right? Like sometimes I'm weird, right? But you ever take licks for the kingdom? Like some of like satanic divisiveness. You know, one of the things that you've done when I followed Jesus over the years and I've pastored, like you start to see the enemy just work his way in between relationships. And people who are friends, who used to be friends, who are best friends, you just see the enemy just start slowly getting in and dividing. You see people turn on each other. Like, bro, like, why are you turning on? Like, we're supposed to go into battle together, and you're over here pointing the strap at me. You see people divide, like stuff that you're like, man, like, no, but like even the good guys. It's a lick, and it just kind of throws you off. You ever seen demonic deception? Like people, like sometimes we think, one of the things I learned a long time ago was that sometimes people are just given over to the enemy. Like you can reason and reason and reason, but what's up with the blinder on there, they're literally oppressed by Satan. You ever see people just have like straight demonic deception? Like people that you, like I just watched my homie who's a pastor who planted a church in another state, who I know, who has labored for the kingdom. I watched him get deceived that his barber was better than his wife. And shipwreck his entire ministry and walk away from the faith to sleep with a 26-year-old barber. And you're like, huh? Like, bro, you been in these, like you know better, dog. Deception. He's been deceived. Or you see people who like people who you know, who you love, and who you're like, God, bro, I promise you, I want the best for you. I promise you that this is good for you. And they just walk off the cliff. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you watch them fall to their death, sometimes literally over the years, right? And you're like, are you for real? Like really? Serious? You know, some of the, like sometimes you get punched in the face with deep discouragement. You ever been deeply discouraged? Or almost fatalistically depressed? You know, one of the most dangerous things about having studying theology, like having theology degrees, and like I've written academically at like high theological levels. One of the things about studying theology is you realize literally how much you don't know. And you learn these things about God that you seem to be true over time. Like you learn things about God that you seem to be true over time, and you watch God do things that don't make any sense. And it's you watch God bless things that you're like, that shit, like, huh? And you watch things just collapse and you're like, huh? And it makes no sense. And sometimes it brings you to the point when you're like, what am I even doing? Like, why? Like literally some of my last few years have been walking through the wilderness like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I don't know if anything matters. You minister for people, like you literally sit and minister with people. There's people sitting on your couch for you and they just get divorced. You watch somebody shipwreck their faith and die. You watch people walk away from Jesus. Like you pray for things and then like God, like sometimes it feels like God's not a nice person. And you wrestle with that. Like that's, right? Extreme doubt. I told you I'm going to bring you into my closet, right? I told you I'm gonna let you in a little bit, right? You ever have extreme doubt? Do you know that preachers doubt too? Like you doubt the power that you're actually preaching? Been slandered? Well, I've had some slander. I got some, right? I've had some slander. And betrayal? You ever been betrayed? You know, one of the things as a contractor right now, I've been working with some GCs and doing some stuff, and I've been meeting with my therapist. I was like, I need to work through some of this like trauma that I've been through. And I had a situation come up, and I'm like, you know, like one of the hardest things, you know, coming from where I come from is like it's easy to get a ski mask and a strap and like go get what you gotta get, right? But then like you know that as a Christian, you know that that's not good. Right? So you have this tension, but then I don't know what to do with it. So what I do is I have this internal turmoil that starts like eating me up inside and just, I'm like, there's a tension, there's a turmoil between what I want to do. Like, man, the other day, like, this is how weird it is, right? You guys are going to laugh at me. Don't laugh at me, okay? Just make me more insecure. I'm about to talk to my therapist about that. You ready? But I had this general contractor that owed me like 50 racks. You know what I mean? 50 what? $50,000, right? He owed me like 50 grand, right? I had this GC, he owed me like 50 grand. And like, look, that much comes in, that much goes out, right, George? Like, it sounds a lot, but still, like, from where I come from, I'm like, that's kind of crazy. But his daughter went to school with my daughter, and we ended up getting the job separate from, I don't even know how but we figured out after. But this dude was on some straight, like, grimy, like, bro, you're gonna have to give me my money. You know what I mean? And so I rolled up to his, so I'm in my head about it. I'm rolling through it, right? I go into his office. I sit down. And I'm like, you're gonna pay me. And I swear I heard the audible voice of God, like, or what? I'm like, what you mean? Like, he's like, look at you with your costume on. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh man, this dude's lucky I know Jesus, man. That's like, no, you're lucky you know me. Right? Like, you're lucky you know me, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm wrestling, like, bro, like I can't do nothing. There's this tension of wandering in the wilderness, hearing silence, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to wrestle, right? And I wrestle with these things. I wrestle with these ideas of like, God, are you powerless? Does it even matter? Does discipling people, like how do I disciple this person? Then they just go walk off a cliff, like man, bro. Does it even matter? And it's usually when I bring these things up that the experts arrive. Oh, you should be doing this. Right? Oh, the reason that you're going through this is because of this. Please don't. Right? Brothers, you can best believe that you don't have a better answer than Jesus, and you can trust that I have been asking him, and he is yet to answer me on some of these things. And if you got any questions about my resume, just ask. Right? I'm talking about deep in the water where you better look him in the eyes or you're going to drown. Let me give you a few examples. The guy who ministered to me, when I came out of the streets, I had paroled, ended up homeless, me and my wife living on Sepulveda. And anybody know about remember the Voyager Hotel? Oh, no. Right? Like I had no money. Lost, like, man, I literally was coming, I had $300, I dropped my wallet, a crackhead picked it up, I chased him, and he got away. I had no money, bro. I was living in a car with a pregnant girlfriend, on parole, like, trying not to violate, you know what I mean? And this dude ministered to me. This dude came to me in that place, and he ministered to me. And man, he was one of the, like, greatest ministers that, like, man, he did so much work in my life. He was attentive to me. He walked with me. Man, dude put money on my pocket, bro. He, like, helped me, bro. I moved out of the state, helped me move out of the state for a little while. He was a good dude. And then I found out when he was a member of my church that he was molesting kids for 30 years. How do you deal with that? Like, what do you do? Like, what is your mind, like, how do you reconcile theologically, like, huh? Like, because he taught me a lot of good things, but he was also, like, drugging kids with food and molesting them. And then we exposed it, and we got a hold of one of his, like, victims. Then he went to the freaking victim and convinced him that we had some ulterior motive, right? Talk about slander and betrayal. And the kid recanted, and then guess what? He ended up killing himself. Huh? Like, how do you reconcile that? My dad was a heroin addict for my whole entire life. And you know, when I was growing up, I used to, like, I'd want my dad to show up, right? I had a stepdad, he was abusive. But I want my dad, like, why can't my dad just stop going dope and rescue me? Like, can he just come back in my life? And you know, there was a time when I was like 19, I had just paroled. My dad was on the streets. And I was like, you know what, man? Like, I asked him, I said, hey, look, I was gangbanging, bro. I'm in and out of jail. Like, I did my street thing. Like, I don't need you to lie to me no more. Are you ever going to stop shooting up heroin? And he's like, nah. And I was like, cool, we could build a relationship. And in some weird way, like, it actually, that expectation, when I dropped that expectation, like, we were able to, like, move on. And we had, like, this great relationship. And then his kidneys and his liver went out, and he was in a coma at Northridge Hospital. And I get called to the scene. And I'm sitting here like, okay, like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, hey, we need you to pull the plug. I'm like, oh. All of a sudden now, my heart is wrapped back up in. Like, I thought I already detached that. Like when we had that conversation at that ARCO, you know what I mean? I was like that part of me was already gone. Like, I was like, I don't have to deal with that anymore. But now I'm sitting at Northridge Hospital, and somehow they got my phone number, and then I get a phone call, right? I get a phone call, and then they come, and then they ask me, and they sit me down every single day trying to convince me that it's my job to pull the plug. I'm like, I didn't freaking put him here. Like, I didn't put him on this, right? And I had this like wrestle, like, I'm like, God, like, why am I here? And I felt like this weird like responsibility, like, well, if he wakes up, you gotta preach the gospel, you know, like the most holy, you know, whatever, right? And so I just sat there. And 9 days later, and he woke up, and I got to tell him about Jesus. It's dope, right? But he denied him and died. Huh? Like, what? Then my grandma didn't want nothing to do with me, so she got dropped off at a dope house, and someone got shot in the head, never saw my grandma again, found out she died. Like, do you understand? Like, these kind of things, like they mess with you. Like, it's fun early on. Like this, I know like pond Christianity, right? Like the little pool, like, you know, it's like you walk in stuff and like you think because like someone yelled at you, you had a bad day. Like these are the stuff that messes with you. A few years ago, I had to go and help minister to this couple. So there's this dude, he planted a church, and like one of the things that we've always told people is like, use your things to be generous, right? Like be generous with your stuff. And so he bought this house to share it with his community. Like, bro went and bought a house to share it with his community, right? Built a pool. Gave all the community the gate key so they could come in and use the pool. And like, I mean, you think about the generosity of this man, right? Hosted Bible studies and like life groups at his house. They have this life group, they break up to men and women and they're praying. While they're praying in the house that this dude built for generosity, while they're praying, a little girl slips into the pool and dies. Huh? Right? It doesn't make sense. That's some laundry, huh? Like, you get to see the behind the stuff that you wrestled through, right? What's the point of all this? I promise you that I'm not telling you all these stories to make you doubt God. I promise you, because I don't doubt him. I'm not telling you, well, I do doubt him sometimes, but I know him, right? Look, what I'm trying to show you is I guarantee that you are not an expert. You are not an expert on this thing, right? You're not an expert. And guess what? God doesn't bend his tolerance to your comfort level. Like, God is comfortable tolerating things that I have no, like, it's just too much for me. Like, I can't tolerate it, right? I can't comprehend this stuff. My hope is maybe you feel a little bit more normal and seen. And maybe this resonates. Fam, Jesus didn't come to answer all of your questions, but he did come to you in your pain. Jesus will not, I promise you, I don't know what you're going through. I know some of your stories, and I can see, I'm profiling you, so I can see some of your, probably where you come from. You know what I mean? Like there's some wrestle ahead of you. there's some struggle ahead of you. There's some more struggle in front of me, right? And I promise you, and I want to just set the bar straight, like Jesus ain't going to answer all those questions for you. If you're looking for a pretty Christianity, like he's not going to answer those, but I promise you he will come to you in your pain. Brothers, I've been discouraged over the years, man. Like this last 6 years of my life have been like full of discouragement, just struggle. And I feel like as men and as the church, we try to baptize it away, right? That's when our shoulda pastors come. When our shoulda Christians come. Like, hey man, I'm discouraged. Well, maybe you're just not trusting God enough. Like, man, shut up. Shut up. Well, maybe if you would have done this, your church would have went to, okay, buddy, like, good for you, bro. Like, yeah, okay. Well, look at what my church has done. Okay, like, I don't know. Like, how do you know? Like, man, whatever, bro. Cancer grows too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You know? But I don't know. I don't get to. But one of the things that God has taught me is I don't get to judge all of that. I don't understand it. None of it makes sense. What I can tell you though is Jesus will come to meet you in your pain. I don't know anything about sanitized Christianity, guys. It gets me in so much trouble, man, because I feel like I don't fit in. Right? I never fit in that club, but I do know Jesus. And I know that even when I'm screaming at him, he listens and he's never dismissed my pain. And that's why I wrestle with Galatians 6:9. That's why I wrestle with it. Right? When he says, do not grow weary in doing good, it's while I wrestle, because while my mind and my experience overwhelm me. Guys, it's overwhelming sometimes. It's overwhelming. Sometimes I feel completely lost in the middle of a dark, and like I feel like a little kid, like why my dad left me here. Right? While my mind and my experience overwhelm me, the presence of Jesus has implanted in me a rebellious hope. And it controls me, fam. Like, I can't shake the presence of Jesus. Like, one of the things I had to learn over the years as coming from, like, smart Christianity, where we, like, know theologically everything, is what Jesus smells like, what he sounds like, what his laugh is like, man. Like, the presence of Jesus, when I've looked at him and I've been in his presence, it's implanted in me a rebellious hope. And I promise you, it controls me. It controls me. Don't get it wrong, fam. God has blessed me. I don't want to, like, when I'm telling you this dark side of it, right? I'm telling you it because I want you to see that it's okay to wrestle, right? Don't get it wrong. God has blessed me, man. Like, God, man, I've been married. Man, me and my wife come from 3 generations of divorce. We've been married for 20 years, bro. And I'm looking in the back. We wrestle, right? Outside, we wrestle. There's people in this room who've counseled us. Like, we've wrestled, and it's been hard at times. And you know what? Like, I'm going to still thug it out. Like, whatever, bro. Like we're going to have to fight through this one. We're going to work through this one. Like, we've wrestled. I've been married for 20 years. I got 3 kids, man, and I am their dad. Like, and I'm in their life. Like, I get to leave here and go to basketball games. You know how dope that is? Like, for reals? Like, my kids love me. Like that's dope. Like, I know my kids. That's dope. My kids get annoyed by me because I'm too present. You know what I mean? I just used to want my dad to come around. Like, my kids are like, get away, bro. You know what I mean? I told my son, I'm like, bro, I got way more street cred than you, dog. Like, shut up. And he still thinks I'm corny. Like, I'm like, how am I corny, bro? Like, your friend's dad is 72. Like, come on, bro. Like God has blessed me, man. God has blessed me. God has blessed me, man. He has, you know what's crazy, man, is he's taking me to the edge of so many cliffs, and I've even like fell, and he's like swooped me up, and like he's come through over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And over again and over again and over again. And the story of my life is the presence of Jesus has not left me in the mid. He hasn't answered my question, but he's been right there rocking with me, man. And God has shown me. You know the purpose of the resurrection? It literally, you know what the purpose of the resurrection is? Is Jesus literally, he implanted himself here. Jesus came here, he implanted himself. And you know what? He went all the way into death to show you that no matter how hard it gets, he'll defeat that sucker, bro. Like no matter, he defeated death. He rose from the grave to say, guess what? Even the crazy man, you know what? You know what's crazy? Like coming from the neighborhood I was from, I had to box a lot. You know what I mean? We have lots of enemies. You know, like one of the things you realize, man, is like somebody, like it don't matter how crazy you are, like someone will knock you out, bro. You know what I mean? Like you get nervous, like you know what I mean? And sometimes, like you ever had that? I remember one time I had to lock myself in a cell room. This dude from the jungles, man. Like I was like, all right, bro. He was like 6'7", bro, and I was like 14. And I was like, all right. And I was scared, bro. I went in there, but I was scared, right? And sometimes, and like you know, sometimes, man, you think there's some things that are just scary. You know, there's some things that are scary, right? Like, some of you been in situations, I had a gun pulled to my head, bro. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die right now. You know what I mean? Like, bullets flying by. I laid there with bullet wounds, right? Like, I laid there bleeding from bullet wounds, like, thinking I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes, like, right now in my business, it's kind of scary, bro. Like, I'm like, this is a little wild, right? But you know what the resurrection shows us? The resurrection shows us that no matter how crazy it is, Jesus defeated that. And his promise is that one day I'm going to come back and defeat it all. And it's not that I understand it. And it's not, I want you to get this straight. It's not that I have this it's not that I have this comprehension of it. It's that I have this I don't know, like attraction to the Jesus, and I can't leave his side. And when I'm by his side, like I just trust him. And what I know is not because of all that I know. It's not my mind that teaches me. It's I can't comprehend it. It's my presence next to the King that shows me that, like, all right, I'm gonna keep walking, and it produces in me a rebellious hope. A rebellious hope. And you know what? I want to bring something up to you too. I'm not fooled either, man. The demons know my name. Just know this. Some of this stuff this is spirit. This is a spiritual world, and there is a spiritual war that we are at. And you want to go back, you want to go be big Christian. Like, just be ready for big demons. You know what I mean? Right? But don't be fooled. Don't be fooled that your war is not against flesh and blood. It's not against your brother. It's not against the person next to you. It's not against that's not your war, man. There's a spiritual war that our King has already become victorious over. And one day he will set up his kingdom, and all other kingdoms will bow the knee to King Jesus. Come on. And man, if you know him, you get to be there right there with him. So what's my point, guys? My point is that I struggle just like you. And my hope would be that you would know that your struggle is not unseen. But I also want you to know, if I can demonstrate, like I said, at that gym where they show me how to work out, if I could tell you a little, if I could bring you a little bit into my story to say, what I'm trying to demonstrate for you is what it looks like to press into that relentless hope. And it's not something that man can manufacture, because I don't got it figured out, right? But it can only come as you get next to King Jesus. And you just go where he goes. My prayers that resonates with you. God, I pray right now. I pray for these brothers, Lord. I pray that you meet them. God, I pray, God, that whatever ways that the enemy has been lying to them, I pray against that. I pray against the enemy. The enemy's a sucker. He ain't got no smoke with us. I pray, God, that you would be victorious in the life of your people. I pray that these men would God, I pray, God, that whoever wants to relapse right now wouldn't. God, I pray that whoever's depressed right now, God, I pray that they would feel hugged by you. I pray that you just feel your closeness, God. God, I pray, God, that the lie that the enemy might be telling someone right now to not confess or share something, I pray, God, that you would give them the courage to share it, knowing that it's okay. And I pray that the person receiving will not be a weirdo. God, help them. Help us to help them to share so that the enemy doesn't keep them in the dark and just torment them. God, I pray blessings over the brew line, God. I pray blessings over these men. I pray, God, that your blessing, God, I pray that the seeds that are planted in this place would be just a wild, like a wildflower, God, that would just grow rapidly and transform our city. I pray that these men, God, as they go out, it'd be like walking through a dead forest and it turns to life because of their presence and your presence with them. God, would you meet us? Would you stay with us? Would you bless us? Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.